It is officially Arch Manning time in Austin as the Texas Longhorns named him the starter for this weekend's game against Louisiana Monroe. He will make his first career start after filling in last week in the second half and the last part of the first half for the injured Quinn Ewers. Now, this is not necessarily a permanent move. In fact, it likely isn't, although we are going to kind of explore and wonder and drift into that a little bit here on today's episode of Verts. My name is Harrison Graham, NFL college football content coming at you every day. Subscribe for free videos. Quinn Ewers dealing with the strained abdomen. He was limited this week at practice, but considering the Texas schedule the next couple of weeks, UL-Monroe this week, Mississippi State next week, the worst team in the SEC, kind of a no-brainer to just roll Arch out there. Great opportunity to give him full reps as the starter throughout the week and also in these games. And I just want to throw this out there. I'll stoke the flames a little bit. Texas fans or college football fans, who will be the Texas QB moving forward once both are fully healthy? Quinn Ewers or Arch Manning? Let me know in the comments section down below who will be the Texas quarterback, because I do wonder if this becomes a conversation. Could Arch take the job? I don't know what he could do against two far inferior opponents that would just scream, you cannot go back to Quinn Ewers. I would expect him to sit in these two games because Texas has Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State bye week, and then Oklahoma and Georgia back-to-back, arguably their two toughest games on the schedule before a potential SEC championship game and a college football playoff appearance, obviously. So that certainly is something to consider here. Look, I do find it pretty unlikely that Steve Sarkisian wouldn't go back to Ewers considering how well he was playing. But I will say this. If Arch balls out, like he did in the second half of last week's game, the media, some of the fan base, it's going to be loud. His name is Arch Manning, the nephew of Eli and Peyton, the son of Cooper, the grandson of Archie. Like, this will be a discussion publicly. Now, in that building in Austin, will it be? I don't know. Again, Quinn Ewers has done nothing but play well, be a great leader, and ball out for this football team. But when we have seen Arch, it looks pretty damn impressive, has it not? Quinn Ewers, Arch Manning, you see the stat comparison there? And I think something that really stands out and that should be mentioned is that unlike his uncles Eli and Peyton, Arch Manning is a tremendous athlete, and he is a much better runner than Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers has one rushing yard this season. He can run a little, just doesn't that often. Has an injury history now. That's something to consider. And Arch Manning had a 67-yard touchdown run last week on his own read. Literally juked a linebacker out of his shoes and outran the rest of the secondary. It was pretty impressive. I don't care who you're playing against. He is a better runner than Quinn Ewers. So regardless of who you think the better player is right now overall, obviously you would lean on Quinn's experience, logic would say. There are things Arch can do that Quinn does not do as well. And let's be honest, we've seen situations before where a quarterback gets injured, next guy comes in, and just runs with the job. You think of the 49ers with Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith. Alex Smith was having the best year of his career, misses some time. Kaepernick comes in, takes them all the way to the Super Bowl. They left Alex Smith on the sidelines. This is college versus the NFL. These next two games aren't high-level competition, so it's not apples to apples. Well, how about Alabama? Nick Saban benched Jalen Hurts, a high-level college quarterback, in favor of Tua Tagovailoa in the national championship game. So I do think it's a scenario here where even if Arch Manning balls out and they go back to Quinn, which I do think they will, I would sit Quinn the next 2 weeks and then get him ready for Oklahoma. If he struggles, if he throws a couple of picks, remember he struggled against OU last year and they lost a tight game, Arch will be ready to go at that point. A year ago, it was Malik Murphy and Arch Manning who hadn't played much. Now it's going to be Arch Manning who's likely started 2.5 games and played at a high level. Obviously, we've got to see him do it the next 2 weeks, but I would anticipate him playing well against UL-Monroe and Mississippi State. He could get an opportunity We've seen scenarios before where it's not anything the starter didn't or failed to do. It's just this guy we got playing, we're rolling right now. Why would we change it up? Now, again, I expect Ewers to be back in there. He's done nothing to lose this job, but we've seen it before and we'll see it again. Could it be in this situation? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I do know this, like I said earlier, the media, the fans, people online, it will get loud in favor of Arch Manning if he plays well over the next couple of weeks. All right, I do want to get to some college football Week 4 preview and picks. Take a look at the top 5 games on the slate this week and make my picks both straight up and against the spread. And got to say, your boy's pretty hot. 9-6 against the spread this season. Feeling pretty good about seeing the board right now. And we'll see if we can make some more money this week. So if you want to chase me, want to make some bread, track record's been pretty good so far this year. All right, number 24, Illinois at number 22, Nebraska. Doesn't this feel like a little trap game for Nebraska? You would say normally, it's a ranked opponent. That's not going to be a trap game. Well, Nebraska's getting a lot of love right now. Matt Rule is a great college coach. Dylan Raiola's playing well. The defense is humming. Illinois, it's a basketball school, right? Brett Bielema can coach. They're playing defense. They're going to be physical running the football. That's what his teams do. Their quarterback, Luke Altmaier, the Ole Miss transfer, is playing pretty well also. 7.5 feels a little high here for a game I think could be in the 20s. I think Nebraska will win. I don't think Matt Rule will look ahead of this game and have his guys look ahead, but it's still a true freshman quarterback in a top 25 matchup. I like Illinois to cover here. Their defenses have been good under Bielema since he's been the head coach, but I think Nebraska wins, but I do think it's going to be close. Number 11, USC at number 18, Michigan. Saturday, that last game, by the way, Friday night on Fox. Saturday on CBS, USC 5.5-point favorites right now. I like USC, and I kind of like USC big. Now, I don't like them Texas over Michigan big in the big house, but double digits, 10 to 14 points. This feels like a 31-20, 31-17 type of game. Michigan already switching quarterbacks. They're going to start Alex Orji, who's more of a runner. I would expect Sharon Moore tries to muck this game up and, reduce the possessions and try to win this game on the ground and with defense. But even Michigan's defense hasn't looked great at times this year. Will Johnson's been hit and miss at corner. And Lincoln Riley quietly has the Trojans rolling. Miller Moss, very efficient, accurate passer. They're running the football. And most importantly, DeAnton Lynn, the son of Anthony Lynn, has that defense playing well. I still ask the same question I asked when Michigan played Texas. How does Michigan score? I like to switch to Orji because at least he can run around and maybe you pop a play or two with him at quarterback, but you're not going to have a potent passing attack, I wouldn't expect. If you're Michigan, you're trying to keep this game in the teens, maybe get to 20 points and win 20-17. I don't think they hold USC back that much. I like the Trojans by double digits. Utah at Oklahoma State. Some interesting things happening in Vegas with this one. The Utes were 2.5-point favorites. That is now flipped to Oklahoma State minus 2.5. Typically, when you get a line shift that quickly, they know something we don't. Cam Rising, who last week didn't play but was expected to play this week, maybe Vegas caught wind that he is not expected to play for Utah. And if he doesn't, that's a big deal. Last year and this year without Cam Rising just don't function the same way offensively. So I'll make my pick simple. I'm going to give myself courtesy here. If Cam Rising starts, I like Utah to win and cover whatever the spread is. If it shifts to Utah minus 3, I will wear it that way. If it stays, whatever it is, Utah wins and covers. If he doesn't start, Oklahoma State wins and covers. I'll make it that simple. I'm not going to shift the line in my favor. So no, one team wins, other team covers. Rising starts, they win and cover. If he doesn't, Oklahoma State wins and covers. And the reason is simple. Cam Rising gives Utah a major advantage at quarterback in this game over Alan Bowman. But if not, Bowman's still a seventh-year guy. He can be steady, and Ollie Gordon's a game changer. So if Oklahoma State doesn't have to face Rising, I just think their defense is going to give Utah issues. I like the Pokes if Rising is out. Top 15 matchup in Norman. This is where College Game Day is. Number 6, Tennessee visiting the 15th ranked Sooners. Saturday night, a little primetime action on ABC. Tennessee currently a 7-point favorite. I like the Vols, and I like the Vols big. I put out a longer preview of just this game. If you guys want to go check it out on the channel, subscribe and go to the content tab. Nico Iamaleava, that's his name, the Tennessee quarterback. He's been really good so far this year, the true sophomore, and I expect him to continue to play well. Now, at times he can put the ball in harm's way, and Oklahoma's an opportunistic defense, so if they're going to win this game, they probably need a defensive score because their offense has really struggled. That offensive line, per PFF, the worst among Power 4 teams in college football. Tennessee has a couple of NFL guys up front on their defense. I just don't know how Oklahoma scores consistently. Jackson Arnold's been inconsistent, the second-year quarterback. I like the Volunteers big. If OU wins, they get multiple turnovers and probably a defensive or special teams touchdown. If Tennessee plays a B-plus game offensively, I think they roll in this one. Last one here in the Big 12, little Big 12 after dark, 10:30 Eastern out in Provo, Utah, Kansas State at BYU. I really thought about the upset here outright. BYU, they've had some weird games and some late games out there in Utah before. I remember them hammering Texas a couple of times out in Provo late at night about 10 years ago. Things can get a little weird there, but Kansas State's ability to run the football with Avery Johnson and their 2 running backs, I like that for the Wildcats. I think BYU keeps it close at home. They're getting 6.5 points, but I think Kansas State wins. BYU covers. Kansas State gets a critical road victory at BYU to be in a good position in the Big 12 title race. So there you have it. Arch Manning starting for Texas. We'll see how long that goes. I think he'll start the next 2 weeks given the schedule, but maybe Quinn returns next week. For sure, he'll probably be back for Oklahoma, but if Arch plays well, the noise is going to increase. My name is Harrison Graham. If you want more coverage here on 4Verts and sometimes multiple videos per day, hit that subscribe button. NFL fans, we'll have a Thursday night football breakdown likely tonight, so be on the lookout for that. See you guys soon here on 4Verts.